Good morning Sunday and welcome to my YouTube channel Volvo Christian, and an extra welcome to my subscribers here on the channel. Really appreciate your support. Today's video will be about this beautiful model year 23 Volvo S90. This is in the bright theme, so previous inscription. It's in the silver dawn exterior color. It is running with the 20-inch alloys that we usually find on the dark trim, but I think this suits the silver dawn S90 just marvelous. We're starting here at Ski, actually the same location as I started a couple of weeks ago with a Fusion Red C40 just over here at the charging station. I charged it up to like 82% and drove to Fagernes, and today I will repeat that tour but with the S90 instead. I will also continue the stretch up to Beitostøl. At least that's the plan. I will compare the fuel cost versus the charging cost for the C40. So that will be quite interesting. I have just refueled the petrol tank. There's a Circle X station just behind here, and I just been there and refueled. And when I arrive at Fagernes, I will also refuel and check the cost versus the charging cost I had with the C40 at Fagernes. So this will be quite interesting to see how they compare on the same stretch, similar conditions. As you see, we have a fresh layer of snow. I will probably be driving in hybrid on the highway and the main roads, and probably engage the constant all-wheel drive when needed when driving on snow. Let's see, we can just reset my trip computer so we can get a, I will reset the TM, so trip manual. This is just from earlier today. We will now, let's see, ta meg til Beitostølen.
Beitostølen 3 timer og 33 minutter unna posisjonen din med bil I lett trafikk.
So 3.5 hours. Let's check. Start. Let's see if I can get the screen to focus. See, 3.5 hours. If we zoom out, here we have the, let's see. So here we have the stretch, and somewhere around here we have Fagernes, and I will stop there to just refuel and check my consumption. You see now my battery are also, I hope you can see this. See this 51 kilometers, so that's the one part I can't do anything about because I forgot that I was going to compare these two cars, so I charged it during the night, but we will try to. And also the C40 was front wheel drive only. This is all wheel drive, at least when I engaged let's see, driving constant all wheel drive. So if the roads are snowy and slushy, I will probably engage the constant all-wheel drive. That will also increase the consumption slightly. So I think the buffer of the battery will even that out slightly. Sadly, since this is a model year 23, we can't shift drive modes as we could before. We have to go into this screen every single time. That's quite a hassle. Have to press the settings, driving, and then pick your desired drive modes. But let's see, I heading towards Beitostølen in this model 23 S90. And if you're thinking about powertrains, this has the T6 petrol engine at about 303 horsepower, or 310. Suddenly my brain aren't connected. But anyway, we have the new 3-layer battery on 18.8 kilowatt hours and an enhanced electric motor providing 145 horsepower. So a much stronger electric motor, and the system power of 455. So yeah, 310 on the front, 455 in total, 709 Newton meters. So this is a real beast when you hammer the throttle. But let's get moving. Just a final glance at the exterior here. And I will enjoy this trip very much. You can see why, probably. Bowers and Wilkins. We got the awesome ventilated Nappa seats. So comfortable. And they even have the massage function. So this will be 3 hours or 4 hours each way in pure luxury. I'm so amazed by the S90 interior and these seats. Wow, super comfortable, soft, supportive. With you can adjust these side bolsters to get the perfect fit. Such a beautiful place to spend a Sunday. So let's get moving and jump out on the roads. Hello and welcome back. You are now joining me at Fagernes. I have just arrived here and I've also refueled the petrol tank at this local Shell station. And now I'm just enjoying this beautiful scenery here at Fagernes. Such a peaceful location. And also enjoying the spectacular S90. Just look at this. Picture perfect. Would be even better in a crazy cool color like red, blue or green. Last time I was here I had a Fusion Red C40 and the charging station where I stopped are just over here, just through this main street here at Fagernes and down. Maybe we can see it all the way in the background there. There's the charging station and also the place I recorded the video. And I started at the same location at Ski, started with 82% state of charge and arrived here with 0%. And then I recharged it up to 80%. And I tried to simulate the same today. Started with a full petrol tank and now I've just refueled again to the full petrol tank. And you're gonna be amazed when you when you see the results. Just plug-in hybrid for the win. Crushes these battery toys. But let's first talk about the S90 in general and some pros and cons after my week with the S90. So I picked up this S90 last Saturday, so I had it like 8 days and driven about 1,000 kilometers. Had a little trip to Sweden and then the local runs back and forward to work and now here at Fagernes. But I also owned a S90 myself. I had it for about 2 years and drove about 30,000 kilometers I think. So I'm very familiar with the S90 and I got much love for the S90. So the pros and cons, I will try to reset ever so slightly, but with my background there's some of the things I will complain about are regards to previous ownership, because I know what I had and I know what I love. But let's first start with the pros, and the first being the exterior design. I could just walk in circles around this car, and especially after the Model Year 21 where we got the updated rear lights with sequential functionality. I'm such a huge fan of this new light signature. And just look at the profile. Wow, I'm such a huge fan of the S90. So this is my first pro. Exterior design. From every angle I find this very, very appealing. No matter if it's bright or like inscription or the R design that's now called dark. So okay, I have to stop now probably. So first point, exterior design. That's the first pro on the list. And the second thing, actually this new powertrain. My S90, or my previous S90, that was a Model Year 20, and this is a Model Year 22, Model Year 23. But from Model Year 22.5, so late production, Volvo introduced the updated battery, 3-layer battery on 18.8 kilowatt hours, and also the updated rear electric motor on 145 horsepower. Giving this a system power of 455 horsepower, and it's an absolute beast. 0 to 100 kilometers are done at 4.7 seconds. That's very, very fast. If we compare it to the XC40 Twin, that has a 0 to 104.9. Yeah, 4.9. And the Polestar 2 has 4.7. But if you go for the performance pack, that's down to 4.4. But this has 4.7. It's absolute beast. And this has something these electric toys doesn't have. This has the sensation of the petrol tank and what it delivers. That little vibration and that sound it generates, it brings just a totally different level of acceleration. I just love this new powertrain. And the electric range estimated to about 70 kilometers, at least now. I can drive almost back and forward to work, completely electric. So the new powertrain, wow, wow, wow. Really amazed. And for the last pro, or pros, we do have to step in. Because that is about, I also made a post on Instagram about this. And that's the sensation you get when you drive the S90. This appeals to your senses, or pleases your senses. From the first time you're stepping in, when you feel this material and you just look at this. So the first sense of sight, when you look at this, beautiful details all around, beautiful materials. Here we have the grey ash decor. We've got the Bowers of Wilkins stereo with the tweeter. Just look at this. This is just a masterpiece. So, sight as number one. And then we have feel, as I briefly mentioned. When you feel the materials in the solid door handles, you feel this leather. But the feeling, just want to step in. The feeling can also be related to switch hand, to the massage. Just want to go up here, activate the massaging seat, and this is for the backrest. You can select your different programs. Oh, try that again. Let's see, change hands. So you see there's different programs, different intensity and speed. So the feel also regards to the feeling you get from the massage, and also the feeling you get when you accelerate. So feeling, that is number 2. And then we have number 3, and that's regards to smell. There's something special when you step inside a new Volvo. The smell of this Nappa leather, pretty pleasant smell, discreet, but you feel it. And I don't know how to describe it, but there's a completely different smell in here than compared to XC40 and C40 with all this talk about vegan materials and with non-use of leather. I love the scent you get from this Nappa leather. The smell, that's signature Volvo. I'm a huge fan of that smell. And the fourth sense that's being pleased here are sound. And yes, obviously, I'll have to scroll around again. The Bowers and Wilkins stereo. And this is an absolute masterpiece. Oh, I'm such a huge fan of the Bowers and Wilkins. The feeling you get when you're playing the song you like, the vibrations through the speakers and the vibrations in your upper body when the bass and subwoofer, oh, the sound. So this is very appealing to all your senses. The only sense is not it's taste. I haven't found analogy or something regards to taste, because you can't taste something in here. Maybe you taste the fresh air, I don't know. Either way, the senses, this is so appealing, and it's hard to describe in just pictures or something. You have to feel it yourself. You have to be here and just experience all of these materials and how they are put together. So the sensors. So that's my 3 positives: exterior design, engine tech, and interior with appealing to your senses. Sadly, there's also 3 things I don't like, and I'm not sure where to start this part, because I could probably talk for hours about this infotainment. Most of you know that I'm not a fan of this Android infotainment, but in today's video I will just briefly mention this, because this is still quite annoying. So the first point is missing functions, like the missing drive mode selector. Like today, when I'm driving on snow, and in the start I was driving on just tarmac, wet tarmac, and in a couple of long tunnels. If I want to change the drive modes, I have to press this settings wheel, and then I press driving, and then I have to select my desired drive modes. So I need 3 touches in order to change drive modes, and I have to take my focus away from the road. And Volvo says you're supposed to do this when you start your journey, but come on. I like to interact with the car, and the circumstances and driving conditions, they will also change during such a long trip. So it was much easier and convenient with this toggle wheel that was here before, the drive mode selector. But maybe the most annoying thing with missing functions are regards to the steering wheel buttons. These 2 buttons here, maybe you have guessed it, regards to the adaptive cruise with steer assist or not. Before, you could just flick between adaptive cruise control with or without the pilot assist or the steer assist just by tapping these buttons. Now these things doesn't do anything. And what other car delivers steering wheel buttons with no functionality? When was this okay? This is a car that's priced at 900,000 kroners. And for my spec, when I configured one a couple of days ago, I peaked at 1 million. 1 million, and you have no functionality on the steering wheel buttons. Come on. It's just completely madness. If you want to adjust that, you have to go into, no, not controls, driving. And here, steer assist, now it's in Norwegian, steer assist on or off. So Volvo thinks it's safer to do this shit while you are driving. And probably they will say you do this before you start. Yeah, well, as I said, things change when you are driving, and sometimes you want the steer assist on and sometimes you want it off. Why take it away? This is complete madness. I can't believe why this got approved. Absolutely rubbish. The last thing regards to missing functionality or things that was better before are the climate. So here you can see the climate menu. If I press parking to add if I want the car to heat up before I start, and just look at these small icons. It's okay, I'm getting old, but this is just useless, and the way they utilize the space here, just plain stupid. So that's the 3 things I think was better before. But if I'm gonna find something to complain about, in more general speaking of the S90, then probably the luggage area has to be mentioned here. Yesterday I picked up a dining room table and I put it in here. Actually quite good space. I will try now to fold down if I just put the phone here. Let's see if I can do this. And I will try to fold the rear seats. So as you see here, you got plenty of length, but you see the limitation here with the frame. Well, that cost a little challenge yesterday. So this is one limitation that you have to be aware of with the S90, because you have plenty of room in terms of liters, and if you want to pack like soft bags and such. But if you want to transport something big, you will have the limitation of the framework here, if you want to go through to the cabin. So that's one thing I could complain about. And the last thing I want to mention before the video gets way too long are regards to the interior spec. And I find this pretty darn weird. If you spec these charcoal seats, you get black carpets, you get black panels, black seats, everything are black except the headlining. What the heck, Volvo? And this is quite weird, because if you spec the tailored wool upholstery or the amber nappa leather, or if you go for a dark trim with either of those two, you can get a black headlining for the S90. So they have it, and they are placed just right next to each other at the factory. Why can't I opt for a black headlining when I have the black interior? Absolutely useless. Ah, the stupidity of these cost savings and trying to simplify production for the customers, it just gets it turns out to be a headache. And I really want black headlining. So for me, I have to spec either the tailored wool upholstery or go for the amber interior. Or you have to pay a huge cost afterwards to get these retrofitted. And I actually asked for that on my V60, but the price was just hysterical if you wanted a black headlining, because there's so much they have to change. So that was my 3 pros and 3 cons with the S90, and now it's time to look at the consumption. Okay, hold on. As I said earlier in this video, the C40, I recharged it from 0 to 80%, and I can put in the cost of that charging. It was 495 kroners. And now probably we have used some, well, we haven't used anything. So my consumption, let's see if I can get this to focus, 6.3 liters per 100 kilometers, and I've driven slightly over 200 kilometers. So that should give that I have used about 12 to 13 liters, and I will overlay now a picture of the refueling session. And sadly we can't see the price, but it was about 20 kroners per liter. You can probably see that in the other picture. And I paid like 215 kroners. 250, just half of the price of refueling or recharging the C40. So half of the price. Come on. Plug-in hybrids for the win. This is just ridiculously. So one additional point to the powertrain in the S90. Plug-in hybrids crushes the electric C40 and the XC40 by any other car. Half of the price to drive the exact same distance on pretty same driving conditions. It was slightly colder on the C41, but I drove this also slightly harder because there was less traffic. So half of the cost. That's just amazing. So I hope you enjoyed this video. Now I will head further up towards Beitostølen, because the clock is just like almost close to 2, so there's still plenty of time with daylight. So thank you for watching, thank you for all your support. I really appreciate every like, comment, and for new viewers, if you also consider subscribing to my channel. So that's it for this time. See you guys in the next video. Take care and bye bye.